Got you. What do you say to people who be like Vlad's police?
Look, when you look at, you're talking about 2008, right? For 17 years, I've been doing interviews.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I've ever heard one of my interviews being used against someone in a case was Keefe D.
Okay.
And that's not even happening yet because he's still awaiting his trial.
Right.
So I've always been very careful about avoiding statutes of limitations. Now, look, if you're a Freeway Ricky Ross and you did 20-something years about being a drug kingpin, you've earned the right to come out and talk about it.
Right.
Right? Now, if you have an open murder, I'm not going to talk about it. But in the case of Keefe D, he felt he had immunity. He wrote a book that was on Amazon at the time that we did our interview, and he wanted to talk about it.
Right.
So we talked about it, and that's the whole Tupac situation.
Right.
That's the only time I've ever heard of, anything that we've done being associated with an actual criminal case. But the rumors and the stigma are going to stick around.
No, you're right. It's because the reason I asked that's because I'm one of these people. Like for me, it's three things. It's like no raping women, no pedophilia, and no telling. For me, and before I put any of that on somebody, I got to see paperwork. I'm not one of them. Yo, he told this, that, and the third. So I understand where you're coming from completely, but people love to say that about you, and I'm like, but what are you talking about? They have no concrete evidence behind it. But does that annoy you, or you cool?
Nah, because when you actually connect the dots, you'll see, like, for example...
Niggas is ignorant. Niggas ain't out there. Niggas don't know how to even connect dots no more, but go ahead.
You look at, like, my man A.R. Ab, who got a ton of time.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about some gangster shit in our interview, but his case had nothing to do with our interview.
Right.
It never got brought up.
Right.
He had a snitch in his camp that testified against everyone.
Right.
Casanova 2 times. He talked about some shit he used to do back in the day, but when he got locked up, had nothing to do with Vlad TV.
Right.
Nothing ever came up. But people like to say, well, because he talked about this in a Vlad interview and now he's locked up, those must be connected.
Right.
But go through the court transcripts.
Right.
Like you said, like, where's the paperwork?
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole thing. Like, I stand behind what I do because the paperwork stands behind what I do.
Right. Sir?
So other than Keefe D, there's no footage, no Vlad interviews that was played in court?
Not that I know of. And if there is, bring them up. I'm saying it on camera right now. Like, not that I'm aware of. Yeah.
What do you think when people associate your name with, like, culture vulture? What's your opinion on that?
I mean, I think anyone white in hip hop gets called that. Leo Cohen gets called that.
Yeah.
Steve Rifkin gets called that.
Yeah.
And these are legends in the game.
Yes.
I mean, in fact, I remember I interviewed Leo Cohen. I asked him if he's the most powerful man in music right now.
Right.
Because he's the head of YouTube Music Global. That's bigger than everything else. You see what I'm saying? So if he gets called a culture vulture, I'm okay with being in that category.
Right. Sing, go ahead. I know you got some questions too.
Suge Knight was a little pissed at you, man. Like, y'all reconciled that? Ray J interview.
Yeah, I mean, we will eventually. I was supposed to do an interview with him, and I just didn't get back to him with the questions and everything else like that. So I think he was upset over that. But me and him finally got to talk for the first time. I've always kind of avoided Suge Knight just because of all the drama that would happen around him. But we finally got on the phone and had a conversation. So eventually it'll happen. But, I understand why he was upset.
What drama you want to avoid? I thought you liked drama. You don't like that?
I mean, you like drama, but not when bodies are dropping and, people are disappearing and shit like that. Not that type of drama.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. I'm sorry to step on your toes, sir. Do you think most interviews that we watch the interviews, do you think that it has to be some type of drama in your interview when you're doing an interview? Like, we know you hit a lot of different stages, but throughout most interviews is some type of drama within the questions.
I mean, look, like before I got into it, I always thought the hip hop media was lame as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would watch these artists go by these radio stations and all the questions that everyone wants to know that you talk about in the barbershops, you talk about with your friends, like all those get skipped over.
Right.
And then you watch like 60 Minutes and it's like, yo, like they go in.
Right.
Like they ask questions that change global policy,
right.
That have shifts and movements. So when I got into it, I said, I'm not going to do this the softball ass approach.
Right.
I'm gonna, you know, really put my neck out and really ask the questions that people want. And you know, it's an art form. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you've been doing interviews for a while. It's like there's a way you could ask someone anything, but you just gotta figure out how to ease into that question.
Right.
Because I don't have, you know, like I don't try to have like a drama on my show where people get angry and storm out or want to fight me and whatever else. Like if you notice, it's very respectful,
right,
all the way through. So yeah, there is some drama, but it's usually a whole story.
Right.
You know, it's a whole life piece on somebody, and there's going to be drama in that person's life, like there's drama in our lives.
Right.
Are you for most part, are you comfortable going outside? Because I know you say you don't be like, you know, no fighting shit, but it do be like people mad at you. Like Lord Jamal, like he said you brag a lot, you know, on how much money you make. And I think if you was to see a nigga like Lord Jamal in the store, he probably try to like rough you up a little bit. So like,
that's not gonna happen. Now, me and Lord Jamar go back. Like he was a regular guest on my show. I have no worries about being around Lord Jamar. And you know, listen, you got to understand also, there's the internet and then there's real life. Mm-hmm. The same person that'll say, I hope your family dies on the internet will ask you for a photo in real life. Mm-hmm. When I go outside, like every time I go outside, it's always people walking up to me asking for photos, telling me how much they love what I do. You know, like if I go to restaurants, they'll, you know, take care of me and stuff like that. But on the internet, it looks like I'm hated, but that's not really true in real life. Now, in terms of the way I move around, if I'm going to something where it's like a hip hop event or something like that, I'll bring security with me. But if I'm just walking around, now I don't just walk around anywhere, you know, but if I'm in Beverly Hills on Rodeo Drive, I don't feel like I need security with me during those times,
right?
You know, but if I go to certain areas, I will, but I usually try to avoid those areas. But in general, man,
me too, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, every so often someone will talk shit from across the street or something like that. But I don't really put that type of energy out there where I'm really fucking with people and I'm, you know, causing harm to people and I'm beefing with people to the point where I'm like a Charleston White, where I'm talking about their kids and, you know, wishing they'll die and that type of shit. I don't go there. If I have a problem with someone, we'll just stick to whatever that problem is, but I'll never go below the belt with it. So I think in general, I haven't really had those types of problems over the years.
As soon as I get there, I shake Vlad's hand, something ain't right. When I sat down and started talking to Vlad knew how to ask questions the same way the police did. Like my whole childhood, I watched cops. I watch how the police
first 48.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, I know their strategy. And then when Vlad asked me a certain question and I lied to him, I saw the look in his eyes. I thought he got mad. I said, oh, this nigga know I lied. That was over with for me. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, he the police. There's nothing nobody else can tell me. Like I could be wrong, you feel what I'm saying? But even if I'm wrong that he the police, he trying to help he trying to get him. He trying to get us.
You talked about being a Crip in a bunch of your songs. How old were you when you got involved in all that?
What, gangbang?
Yeah.
I don't do no gangbang.
You used to?
Huh? Nah, I don't do no gangbang. It was on some click shit. I don't do no gangbang.
Okay.
Vlad, man, what are you doing, man? You really trying to luring him into admitting being a gang member, and you know that's gonna get him in trouble, man.
I see what kind of good person you were. Boom, that was it.
The only man in the world who can do handstand push-ups with his fist.